Another one from the Smart Shredded story that was very interesting to think about is a person that cared overly a lot of the environment of being proposed in. Luckily, that person has seen their mistake and has talked it out with their partner, and they came to the conclusion like, yeah, at the end, the way I acted was uncalled for. It was really like immature, and I apologize, and I want to like make it up for it. But basically, would you guys care if you're being proposed to, where where you guys are being proposed at? Because I have a dream area that I want to propose to my future partner. I'm not gonna tell you guys because that's a secret. I don't want to give other people ideas because it's like I'm pretty sure nobody else has done it. So I'm not going to manifest this idea to other people's heads. But I have a dream location I want to propose in. But I'm also fully aware that the chance of me proposing there might not happen. So at the end, I would say if I can't propose there, then it doesn't matter as long as I am fully convinced. Like we both know, my partner and I both know that we want to be together for the rest of our lives. Then I would be like, the location of the proposal should not be special, but we can still do something afterwards that could, like, enhance the experience. But yeah, at the end, wherever, like, I am the mindset of like, I want to propose in a special place, but if I can't, that's not the end of the world for me. So yeah, what about you guys? I wouldn't care at all. I know of someone who proposed in their living room with like a candy ring, and this one thing, it makes it so special. Exactly, because like in the Small Shredded story, they also got proposed in their bedroom, and the person was like, "Oh, why in our bedroom?" And then the partner explained it because it's a comfort area. It's where they always felt happy. It's where they can be themselves. And oh shit, sorry, I think I fell asleep momentarily. That's fine, Howard. You don't have to participate in this conversation because I'm not gonna repeat it. But Nuke can explain it to you while I read Fossilized Flame, which is a pretty short one. Euclid, SCP-1814 must be kept in a vacuum-sealed, airtight box at all times, except during testing procedures. This box must be deoxygenated. Wait, deoxygenated? Is that how you say it? The only entrance to the room is a double-seal airlock. The box walls must be continually monitored for cracks, chips, or fractures by way of security camera. If any of these are noticed, the room must be immediately evacuated of gas utilizing a large one-way air turbine in the ceiling above the box. And the box must be repaired by D-class subjects wearing pressurized fireproof suits and respirators. Subjects with respiratory disorders or conditions are not to be allowed into SCP-1814's chamber without a note from a doctor with Class 4 clearance or higher. Subjects exposed to subject exposed to -2 in an oxygenated environment must be immediately and forcefully deoxygenated, even if it results in the subject's death. As a precaution, all subjects entering SCP-1814's chamber must undergo psych evaluation to detect pyromaniac tendencies. Such subjects are to be terminated. Okay, description is SCP-1814 comprises two pieces, usually in contact with each other. These are denoted -1 and -2. So, another thing, Nuke, -1 and -2 means basically there are multiple parts that make the whole SCP. They're connected to each other. They are part of one. It can either be like effects. It can be like different things that are part of each other. Like for example, there's like a vase that grows that like spits out gremlins. So the vase will be -1 and gremlins will be -2, something like that. or like a village and the villagers. The village itself is -1 and the villagers are -2. Like, it's not always gonna be explained like that, but majority of the time, if you see -1, -2, it just means that it's part of the general SCP that we're talking about. Or if it creates a bunch of stuff like the bookshelf, which was like -57, that's a thing of it's not multiple objects that make an SCP, it's just an SCP that creates multiple objects. You know what I mean? Like, there are two different ways of how that's written. -1 is a pedestal made of petrified spruce wood, triangular in shape and around 7 centimeters tall by 18.5 centimeters to a side. It has 6 legs, one on each corner and one in the middle of each side. It is carved in an ornate style similar to the all of the dynasty in China. Despite this, radiometric dating has found it to be at least years older than such a style would suggest. -1 appears to be unaffected by nature of -2. It is slightly warm to the touch at all times. -2, when in the absence of oxygen, is a complex and random arrangement of pumice stones that resembles a burning flame. When in the presence of oxygen, -2 begins to move and shift, crackling loudly, shattering and reforming until it achieves a state of intense molecular motion exactly like that of an actual fire. -2 in this state is hot to the touch, but its heat is not detectable through visual or infrared light. At this point, -2 will spread in the same manner as that of a regular fire. As it burns, -2 emits sounds similar to an avalanche or grindstone. The sound becomes deeper as larger amounts of -2 are produced. Objects, including life forms exposed to -2, will quickly catch on rock, becoming covered with and consumed by it. Subjects will suffer severe burns equivalent to those from exposure to a flame with a temperature of degrees Celsius. Additionally, -2's excess dust may induce asthma attacks in subjects with respiratory conditions, and otherwise causing instances of -2 to burn inside the subject's lungs, eventually they're expunged. Throughout this process, -2 retains the same mass as an equal volume of pumice, gradually getting heavier. -2 also acts according to the properties of regular pumice stone. At the speed it shifts, -2 it scratches subject's skin raw, then through their muscle tissues and finally to the bone. However, nearly no blood is lost as the intense heat cauterizes the wounds. Subjects eventually die from a combination of extreme pain, blunt force trauma, asphyxiation, and exfoliation. It basically just melts right through you. When all oxygen is removed or used up, all instances of -2 not attached to -1 will die down into embers and turn into pumice dust. Said pumice dust is not hazardous and will not become -2 again. The instance that is attached to -1 will revert to its original state and shape. At this point, -1 and -2 become impossible to separate without damaging either. Subsequent oxygenation and deoxygenation will reform damage to -2, but -1 cannot be repaired this way. SCP-1814 cannot be stored underwater due to -2 being made of pumice. It will float to the top and catch the containment box on rock. It cannot be stored in a non-reactive noble gas either. Early attempts at this yield a suspicion neon-like glow from -1. SCP-1814 was recovered on 2000 when an archaeological expedition to an unknown portion of cave in Russia yielded fossilized humanoid remains. The skeletons of approximately 3 individuals of a previously unknown humanid subspecies were expunged, but with only minuscule amounts of pumice dust in the wounds. This struck the archaeologists as odd, as pumice does not occur in that region. The paper on the discovery was intercepted by SCP informational agents before it was published in a scientific journal. The archaeologists were detained and screened and given Class A amnestics. The cave was closed off under the pretense of lethal radiation. Agents state that SCP-1814 itself had used up all the oxygen in the cave thousands of years ago, causing it to put itself out. When the cave was opened, it started to burn again, and quickly began to spread. Dash 2 was deoxygenated using a standard issue fire extinguisher and was brought back to Site 19 in a makeshift vacuum tank. Damn. So basically like a endless fire almost, huh? As long as there's oxygen, it will always come back. It will always lit up again. CD and the road, fight the power. So what do you write? Basically the story was about a guy who wanted to propose in a specific place, and therefore asked whether you care will you propose or get proposed to. We wanted to be a specific thought location, or what you want to spontaneous, or what you want to spontaneous vote. I think Howard fell asleep again because they're taking their time to answer that one. Okay. So